Since its emergence in the 1990s, e-commerce has empowered businesses and consumers alike to make transactions via the internet and fundamentally reshaped how people approach business. Embracing e-commerce as a permanent fixture of everyday life has resulted in a reliance on the technology and fostered a thriving online economy. Business-to-consumer services have matured online. However, over the last decade, innovation has continued and more entrepreneurs now elect to take advantage of the platform. As a matter of course, the sharing economy has assimilated itself into the digital landscape, steadily rising as a result of increased occupancy and therefore competitiveness. The sharing economy offers an alternative peer-to-peer model where individuals interact to buy or sell goods and services. Ultimately, this model targets providers who may own a particular good or are able to provide a particular service of value independently. Entrepreneurs have realized the potential of collaborative consumption and seized the opportunity to develop web applications that facilitate peer-to-peer transactions where it may be too cumbersome for providers to do so themselves. Airbnb is one such service, founded on the notion that underutilized spaces within homes can be repurposed to generate income. Founded in 2008, Airbnb is now a trusted community marketplace with millions of accommodation listings worldwide. Transaction costs are the total costs that are associated with participation in a market for both the buyer and seller involved. When the presumption of zero transaction costs is violated, we are unable to reach equilibrium and the market will not operate at 100% efficiency. Regarding the sharing economy, transaction costs can be thought of as a portion of why there has been such a continual and successful rise of this collaborative economy in the market over the past decade. The transaction costs associated with the collaborative economy are, by a considerable margin, much lower than those of traditional industries. The rise of the digital landscape and age of information has allowed for peer-to-peer services to become commonplace and make a huge dent within industries such as short-term accommodation and transportation sectors, Airbnb and Uber for instance. Using Airbnb as an example, the peer-to-peer service has been able to compete in the market by circumventing the traditional internal transaction costs that the hotel industry has had to deal with in the past. Expenses such as head office costs, support costs, research and development, and staff uniforms. These costs were, in the past, costs that were then passed on to the customer. One negative externality of the sharing economy is the problem with under-regulation that in certain cities is pricing local residents out of the market. In major tourist cities such as Barcelona and New York, locals are struggling to keep up with the amount that visitors are willing to pay for short-term accommodation. This is of course at a societal cost as cultural aspects of a city begin to dwindle as locals are priced out.
Market failure refers to a situation in which the market on its own fails to allocate resources effectively, corresponding to violations of the assumptions model that derive market failure. Assumptions exhibited in the market model are that agents are instrumentally rational and exhibit perfect information, that there are no incorporated transaction costs, that sharing prices and expenses are flexible, property rights are defined and enforced, and a perfect competition is portrayed. Due to the evolution of the sharing economy, the previous models of sharing have become obsolete and are beginning to fail as consumer expectation rises and the prior sharing models become overshadowed by the introduction of new peer-to-peer models. These platforms leverage information technology to empower users to share and make use of underutilized goods. Externalities occur when the production or consumption of a good has negative or positive side effects on third parties or bystanders which are not accounted for in the price of the good. Because the price of the good does not account for externalities, the price mechanism cannot operate to allocate these externalities, hence why there is a market failure. The sharing economy is adversely prone to negative externalities in terms of local residents and local markets being priced out of the new developing market due to the introduction of new innovations utilising the capabilities of the internet.